The Quest for Knowledge, Islamic versus Christian Perspectives on Science. Throughout history, science and religion have shaped humanity's understanding of the world, and both Islam and Christianity have rich traditions in engaging with scientific inquiry and reason. Although each religion's relationship with science has unique qualities, both have grappled with questions of compatibility between faith and reason. Let's explore how Islamic and Christian views approach science, addresses differences in interpretation, and examines the ongoing debates about the compatibility of religious texts with modern scientific theories. Islamic view on science and reason. Islam has historically embraced the pursuit of knowledge, with the Qur'an and Hadith, teachings of the Prophet Muhammad, encouraging Muslims to seek understanding of the natural world as a way of honoring God's creation. Islamic teachings see no inherent conflict between faith and science. In fact, many Quranic verses reflect a reverence for natural phenomena and invite believers to observe, contemplate, and understand the universe. This attitude provided a foundation for significant scientific advancements during the Islamic Golden Age, 8th to 14th centuries, during which scholars in the Muslim world made groundbreaking contributions to mathematics, astronomy, medicine, and philosophy. A key concept in Islamic thought is tawhid, the oneness of God, which extends to the belief that God's creation is inherently harmonious and rational. Therefore, scientific exploration is viewed as a means of understanding the divine order. The Quran frequently invites Muslims to reflect on the cosmos, life, and the natural order, implying that these studies can lead to a deeper appreciation of God's design. Moreover, Islamic scholars emphasize that knowledge derived from scientific methods should complement spiritual understanding. This compatibility is particularly supported by the idea that any knowledge contributing to the welfare of humanity aligns with Islamic principles. In recent discussions, Muslims have pointed to scientific consistency within the Quran. Many argue that the Quran's descriptions of natural phenomena, such as embryonic development or the expansion of the universe, align with contemporary scientific knowledge. This stance bolsters the belief that Islam is inherently compatible with scientific inquiry and that scientific advances do not contradict but rather reinforce Islamic teachings. Christian view on science and reason. Christianity has a diverse and complex relationship with science, with views that vary widely across denominations and historical contexts. In many Christian denominations, science and faith coexist harmoniously, with church leaders and theologians supporting scientific inquiry. Christian doctrines generally regard nature as a reflection of God's handiwork, a belief that has inspired many Christians to study the natural world as an act of faith. For example, during the Renaissance and Enlightenment periods, numerous Christian scientists, including Isaac Newton and Galileo Galilei, saw their work as a way of understanding God's creation. However, Christianity's engagement with science has not always been free of tension, particularly regarding interpretations of biblical texts. For instance, debates over evolution versus creationism illustrate differing Christian perspectives on the literal or allegorical interpretation of Genesis. Some Christian groups hold to a literal interpretation of the creation account, viewing it as historically accurate. Conversely, others interpret it symbolically or allegorically, reconciling it with the scientific explanation of evolution. These varying interpretations reflect broader theological debates within Christianity about the role of Scripture in understanding the physical world. The relationship between Christianity and science is also influenced by the idea of natural theology, which posits that reason and observation of the natural world can reveal knowledge about God. This concept laid a foundation for scientific inquiry within Christianity and continues to inspire Christians to engage with science. Nonetheless, certain scientific theories, especially in areas like genetics, neuroscience, and cosmology, present challenges to specific theological claims, leading to ongoing discussions and reinterpretations of traditional beliefs. Debates on compatibility with modern science. The compatibility of religious texts with modern science remains a focal point of debate in both Islam and Christianity. In Islam, believers often argue that the Quran is scientifically consistent, pointing to verses that are perceived as scientifically accurate or prophetic in their descriptions. Muslims cite examples such as the Quranic references to the embryonic stages of development or the concept of a universe expanding from a single point. These descriptions are taken as evidence that the Quran aligns with scientific discoveries, supporting the view that Islam is inherently compatible with modern science. In Christianity, the compatibility debate centers on interpretations of the Bible, especially regarding the Genesis creation account. Some Christians advocate for young earth creationism, believing in a literal six-day creation as described in the Bible. Others support old earth creationism or theistic evolution, arguing that evolution is compatible with the Christian faith and that Genesis can be understood allegorically. This spectrum of views reflects differing approaches to biblical interpretation, with some Christians viewing the Bible as metaphorical in places where it discusses natural history. In both religions, there are efforts to reconcile faith with scientific findings. Many Islamic scholars and Christian theologians argue that both science and religion seek truth, albeit through different lenses. The intelligent design movement, for example, draws followers from both faiths who believe that scientific evidence points toward a purposeful creation by a higher power. Meanwhile, other theologians, particularly in Christianity, advocate for an integrationist view, seeing science and faith as complementary rather than contradictory. Conclusion: in examining the relationship between science and reason in Islam and Christianity, it becomes clear that both religions contain rich traditions of intellectual engagement and scientific exploration. While Islam generally sees no conflict between faith and science, promoting the pursuit of knowledge as a religious duty, Christianity has a more complex relationship with science due to varying interpretations of Scripture. In both faiths, there is a strong tradition of using reason and scientific inquiry to explore and affirm beliefs, and yet certain doctrines, such as creation narratives, continue to be points of contention and debate. The ongoing dialogue about science and faith underscores the dynamic nature of religious thought and its ability to evolve and adapt to new understandings. For many Muslims and Christians, science and religion coexist harmoniously, enriching their spiritual lives and fostering a greater appreciation for the natural world.